Hello, welcome to another week. Week in life, planning a full week this week. So today is Monday, 24th of May, so week commencing 24th of May 2021. As ever, just a quick one on my fuel prices. So my Shell card, which I get through UK Fuels, is 103.16, and my BWOC or block card is 101.83, so still a reasonable difference. I think it's about 1.3 pence between the two. And they've both gone up, slightly from last week. It's gone up like 0.2, 0.3 pence from last week, both of them. So I'll be using the cheaper one, which is the block card, BWOC, which is on the Uses a Key Fuels network. It's with the VAT, that works out at 122.2 on the nose pretty much. So it's a bit slow. Well, it says a bit slow starting. It wasn't too bad for a Monday for me. I started looking for jobs 9:15 at home. The feed took me a while to get a job, but it was feed just seemed a bit slow, to be honest. I think because I had a better week last week, I was kind of expecting it to be really busy on there, but I think last week was partly because it has got slightly busier, and then also just because I think I got things just kind of like worked out well all week. Got the rub of the green. Didn't get my first job until 11:15, so I was looking for 2 hours, but I did schoolboy error, so I've not done for a little while. Used to do it all the time. I logged in, started bidding on jobs, and I didn't update my status to available, so it's still showing as unknown. So I think that might, some people won't bother giving me a job for that. I always make sure I'm set when I'm looking for jobs to available, waiting for next job, and I always set it to like the maximum you can do, which is 4 hours. So set that at 10. Still didn't get a job till 11:15, and a job I got wasn't actually off the CX. It was the shipper I'm in their sort of WhatsApp group. I've mentioned them before. Local shipper to me. I first worked for them a job off the CX, which was the government food deliveries last end of June, all of July. Did it like 6 weeks. And I'm now in their WhatsApp group, and they normally post jobs on there before they put them on the CX, and try and get somebody, they're sort of, I'm kind of on their trusted list, I presume. That was like a few miles from the house. It was like basically 2 jobs in one. I picked up from a sort of powder coating metals finishing place, dropped off to metal fabrication place, which turned out to be the customer who'd actually arranged the job. So that was kind of like one job, a collection for them. And while I was there, so I delivered that, and then they loaded me with something else, which was a delivery from them. It was like CW11 Crew Way up to Bury area. It was alright, it was pretty straightforward. 98 quid for 94 miles. So I wasn't entirely sure with this, what I'd actually get paid, which is a bit of an odd thing to do, but it was slightly over £1 a mile, and I wasn't far from it, so it probably worked out about £1 a mile all miles. Got me up to Bury, which is a reasonable area, but because I didn't get the job until 11:15, I was like 4 hours, so it's 3:15. There's a few jobs up here, and then a job pinged up, but it wasn't picking up till 7:30. Dropping back down, it's a small van job from Bolton, which I wasn't very far from. Small van, Bolton, picking up at 7:30, straight delivery down to Wolverhampton, WV10, which isn't far from home. And I thought, well, I worked out getting there and loaded miles at 85 pence a mile, slightly over £1 a mile, and I thought I'm never going to get over £1 a mile, but if I put £1 a mile, 89 quid, because it's 89 miles, and I put them in a long wheelbase, I might stand a chance, because it's a late evening job, or late evening, but sort of mid-evening into the night job. And I got it. So that's I did look for jobs because I had like 4 hours to kill. 4 hours, yeah, to see if any jobs pinged up locally I could do in the meantime, but nothing suitable, sadly. So yeah, just waiting now. This is picking up from in a big retail park now, quite close to Bolton Wanderers football ground. That is over there. I'm going to be picking up from like a travel estate, not estate, what they call them, travel agents. One of the big ones. They've got something here. I've actually parked the wrong car park. I need to quickly move over there to get there. And it doesn't say in a job, but I know what it is. It's COVID samples. So I've done a bit of research. And I know there was quite a few jobs pinging up with the same shipper going to the same postcode, small van jobs. And I checked them all out. This is really good for me because I think it looks like this shipper has got the contract for this travel agency who are now offering a COVID testing service, obviously to try as part of like package holidays. And it looks like they're going to have collections from these stores like 7:30 in the evening going back to Wolverhampton WV10, so it could be a regular thing. So that could be really good for me getting home during the week, doing the short small van jobs, but trying to get them for long wheelbase money, because it's a late evening job, a standard chance like this one. So that's good news, really. Hopefully that'd be pretty handy if I could do a few more of them. Like I said, I do like tramping, but I get back when I can. Yeah, so I'm going to get back too late tonight to eat at home, so I've already had some chips on the way here. But yeah, get back to my own bed. So that's the plan for today. So it was 98 for the first one, 89 for this. So that is 187 for the day, which isn't a great day, but considering how badly this morning started, and I'm going to get pretty close to home. It's going to be like 85 pence a mile, I think, ish, all in miles for the day. That's not too shabby at all. Right, it now is wet Wednesday evening, somewhere kind of like halfway between Thetford and Cambridge. I did say Wednesday because I didn't film an update yesterday, just to go through what happened yesterday and the reason why I didn't film. It ended up being a late start to get going, but ended up being a very long day. Quite a good earnings day, or actually a very good earnings day, but a real long day. So start in the morning, I started looking for jobs actually at 8:15 because I was at home, because I got home on a Monday night. And I got the job, my first job, exactly the same time as I did the day before. Didn't get a job until 11:15. Just seemed to struggle really, and the feed didn't seem that busy, but I don't know if I'm just expecting it to be busier because I had a good week last week, or whether it's genuinely not that busy. I have done my little market research thing, but I'll put that at the end in the highlights. Yeah, so got 11:15. This is a job off at CX, and it was picking up 2 pallets of packaging, sort of West Midlands, Smethwick way, taking them down to Pontypridd, Cardiff. And this is one of them ones where the shipper, you get them every now and then, the shipper's always ringing you and sending you messages on WhatsApp and texting you, and you're just thinking, just leave me to it kind of thing. But nice guy, but so I've met him before at pickup. But yeah, anyway, and on the way down here, he rings me up and says, how far are you? And I was like, oh, half an hour. And then he messaged me to say, oh, there's no forklift at the what do you call it, tip? I'll put a bit of extra money on you for the handball. All right, yeah, cheers. Because the message like, and then he put 20 quid on extra. So admittedly, I was at the pickup for about 40 minutes, which was more of an issue. But all it was cardboard boxes. The guy helped me. It literally took 10, max 15 minutes to get unloaded. I include 30 minutes each end. But an extra 20 quid for that. So yeah, it was 130 quid for CX job was 117 miles. But going that way, I always go down the M50 instead of straight down the M5 and over the bridge. For some reason Google tries to send you over the bridge, but it's actually normally slightly quicker going the M50. It's a much nicer drive and it saves about 7 miles. So it was 110 miles loaded for 130 quid, and I think I was like 4 or 5 miles to get there, if that. So yeah, that worked out quite well in terms of rate once I finally got going. So I was about 2:30 tipped there. Sat around, so that's just north of Cardiff, Pontypridd. Sat around there until gone 5, bidding on things and not getting them. Not a lot coming up that way. Most of it was coming up, I'd say 2/3, maybe even 3/4 of the jobs more like the other side of the Severn Estuary, Bristol, that kind of thing. But there were jobs in South Wales, but I didn't get any. And it went 5:30, and I thought, well, I'm on a 1:30 here for the day. It's a pretty crap day so far. And that's only because this guy generously gave me 20 quid extra on the job, really. And then the short wheelbase job turned up from Bridgend. I'm not quite as far as Bridgend. Back to Cardiff. I think it was like 35 more miles all in, so I win at 40 quid. Yeah, so it's like, I think it was like 20 miles loaded, 40 quid. It was a minimum charge, short wheelbase job. Got it, picking up transport company, and then taking just some loose parcels, about a dozen parcels, to one of the big global parcel companies. Some of them are going to China. I think half of them are going to China, and half of them are going to Mexico. So delivered them, pretty simple job. They didn't give me any paperwork, which is a bit annoying. You expect transport companies to give you paperwork, but the guy in the forklift was just like, yeah, whatever, I think you just want to go home, because it was into the evening then, wasn't it? And I thought that's it for the day, so that's 170 for the day. Just thinking about, well, I had something to eat by then, yeah. I was just thinking about where am I going to park up and watch a bit something on my tablet and go to bed. And then a job pinged up about 8:30, and it was one of these jobs. I'm a bit tired, can you tell? COVID samples. The normal shipper going to Norwich NR10, and it was from Bristol, 247 miles loaded, and I priced it at 95p a mile, including getting there. I was quite far from it, so it came out like 276. Bid on it, didn't get the job straight away. I think that was because it's quite pricey. I did put on as a long wheelbase job, and plus it was picking up 10 o'clock this one, and an hour from it. Eventually they rang me up about 10 to 9, so got the job. Had to scoot over there pretty sharpish to get it. This is a job I didn't really want to do. It was just like, as Pete says, make him an offer you can't refuse. And I was like, well, I've not done great these first 2 days of the week. That would save it, but it's going to be a very late finish, like 2:30, 3 o'clock. Turned out on the way there, went a shorter way. It was actually night closes on the M4 and the M25, so I had to kind of cut across onto the A34 and then past Oxford, past Milton Keynes, and then just like cross country. I didn't get there till like 3:05 in the morning. I wasn't in bed until 3:45, so that was a very long day. But yeah, I'll do it in the summary, but overall it was a best day earnings wise, but a very long day. So that was yesterday. And because I was so late to bed, I set the alarm for 9:45 this morning, so I was, at least getting 6 hours. Got up then, I'd left the app on all night, and I'd probably missed 3 or 4 jobs overnight and first thing in the morning. None of them were something I particularly want to bid on. And I actually got a job pretty sharpish once I woke up, and I got myself a coffee, and it was Norwich NR2 to Cambridge, and I thought, great, I'm getting paid to get out of here, so I priced it, including getting 80p a mile, which is quite keen to get there. It's like slightly under £1 a mile loaded. It's only like 60 odd miles. Got there, and I was confronted with this. Yeah, no chance that was going to fit on my van. It was 2 meters long by 1.7 wide. So I was like, yeah, mate, you need a Luton and really a curtain side Luton for side loading for that. So I got the cancellation fee. Still early-ish. Well, earliest. It was still morning at least. I thought, pick something else up surely. Very quiet. I don't know if it's quiet down here, or I think I've just got lucky when I come down here before. Bid on a fair few jobs through the day, a few from like Great Yarmouth and stuff, from Norwich, Thetford. Didn't get any of them. Yeah, and that was it for the day. So got £25 cancellation fee today. One cancelled job. But obviously I'd made really good money yesterday. I'd made over like 2 days money yesterday. But then some of that was making up for slightly below par Monday, Tuesday. Below par Monday, because yesterday was Tuesday. Yeah, so that was today really. Sat around just looking at Facebook on my phone and pretty tired. I've booked my my COVID jabs, so I'm having the first one this Sunday, and then the second one in August. Did that on the phone while I was waiting. Yeah, so I decided then, I was actually on, up until that point, I was on just over £1 a mile for all miles so far this week. So I worked out I could drive 117 miles unloaded, like dead miles, and still be, and that would put me at 85 pence a mile all miles. So I was like, right, I can just drive the hell out of here tonight, or at least part of the way. So I decided I'd go to Thetford, because Thetford, you see a few jobs from there. You're not far from Bury St Edmunds, and you could always nip back to Norwich, half an hour, and you're about half an hour, 40 minutes to Cambridge. So I thought Thetford, I'll stop in Thetford tonight. Got here, I got to Thetford, bid on a job, but pinged up. Long wheelbase job, it's only 8 miles in Cambridge. It was 8 miles loaded, I was 32 miles from it. So I thought I'd go in at 45, because 40 quid is like the minimum charge for a short wheelbase. But I'm starting to realise the minimum charge for like a below 10 miles job is 40 quid a long wheelbase as well, I think. Not as if your costs are that much more really. Yeah, so he battered me down to 40. It's a shipper and a guy I speak to on the phone a fair bit. He's the guy who rings me up from the shipper in the past a fair bit. So yeah, doing that for 40 quid from in the morning, picking up from a builder's yard, builders merchants in Cambridge, CB1, which is the only pain, so it's a bit central. Then going 8 miles out into the countryside, I think. So yeah, I don't know. It's 8:30 at least, so I'll pick that up. Hopefully get it done by 9:30, 10 at the latest. And it's put me further west, where I'm more likely to get a job. So that's the week so far. Pretty knackered now, so I'm going to drive pretty close and park up, watch a bit of TV and go to bed early, and yeah, just catch up on a bit of sleep. So that's it so far. Right, Thursday night now, about 9:30. So yeah, I got that job off this morning. Like I say, it's from a builder's merchants. Bit of a pain to load. It was a bit of like a bits kind of order. Just go around desks like, oh, that one. But they'd got it all together, so it was ready, and they'd put it on a pallet and lashed it up on a pallet. But I couldn't take it on a pallet, so I just had to undo it all and did lashing and handball it in the back of the van, which they left to me. So I did it by myself, so they left me to it. So it was like 25 minutes to get loaded and get out there. So as I've said before, I don't charge anything extra for handball, as long as it's like doesn't take any longer than my standard 30 minutes each end, or 60 minutes combined. That's the way I play it. I kind of get, when I do jobs for this shipper, the one that quite often rings me, it's quite often builders merchants or like wholesale building materials, so not like, trade only ones. And yeah, with this one, he was trying to barter me down from 45 to 40. I says, what is it? Because I want to kind of know, is it pallets? Is it easy on, easy off? And he's like, oh, I don't know. We just want a large, long wheelbase van. Which I really did know what it was, or I just chose not to say, But a shipper should always know what it is, because, it could be ADR, it could be anything, or like the one yesterday in Norwich. where it's a stupidly wide pallet. It's never going to go on a panel van, so that kind of wasted my time. I got like cancellation, but there was a few jobs, good jobs that I was quoting on out of a quiet area at the same time, and I cancelled my bids because I got the one yesterday. So yeah, but that's just how it works out. But Shipshire there was no really. But anyway, got that one off. Drop was easy enough. Some big science park on the outskirts of Cambridge, right next to an AstraZeneca building actually. So that's a name that's quite well known now thanks to their vaccine. And then from there, I got a job from Newmarket to Wellingborough, so it's kind of like close to Northampton, that area. That was just a pallet of packaging that couldn't be any more different. Turned up, the guy was expecting me, straight on the back, got to the drop, and he just tipped me straight away. He's like less than 10 minutes each end, probably 5 minutes, including doing the paperwork, probably 10, and the upload to the CX app and stuff. And then from there, so I was in Wellingborough, a job pinged up, which was a well-known shipper that does collections for one of the major international parcel networks. I don't often get these because they're always normally looking for real cheap, and it was on as a backload, even though it was pick up within the hour and deliver ASAP. So I quoted with normal money and I got it. Bit of a faff this one. I was at the pickup for an hour and 10, some transport company warehouse place. They got confused for some reason, even though I gave them the order number, reference number and all the details. Eventually got loaded, I was delivering to their depot in Tamworth, so yeah, got unloaded in like a few minutes really. Couldn't be any quicker. So I didn't bother chasing them for what you call it on that, partly because when you ring them, you sit in a bloody, because I had to ring them twice, 2 or 3 times on this job while I was at the pickup. And you just sit in a queue on their automated thing for bloody ever. It's a bit frustrating, this company sometimes. So I don't generally quote for them very often, or if I do, well, yeah, they're just, some companies you like working for and some you don't, and some, the ones that are always trying to like quote the rate and it's normally low and stuff, kind of get you back up a bit, but you try not to just price the job. They do always pay on time for me anyway. So got that one off. Thought that might be it for the day because I was only like 15 miles from home. I thought I might go home, but kind of know if I go home, probably going to be a bit late starting tomorrow. So I was looking for jobs for the morning, close to home, bid on a few, didn't get them. And a job pinged up from Derby, so I wasn't very close to it. And it was an 80-mile job from Derby to D-side, sort of Chester area, CH5 or CH4 I think it is. And I thought, picking up late afternoon, ASAP delivery, and I thought, wouldn't surprise me if that's something to do with the Airbus factory in Broughton. And it was, yeah. So it was 80 miles, I quoted 95 quid, it was a small van job. Yeah, and the guy gave it me straight away. Phone rang straight away, didn't try and knock me down. But all miles, because I was quite far from it, it only worked out like a shade over 85, maybe 86, 87 pence a mile, all in. Tiny little package really, well, just like one, maybe 5-6 kilograms package. So yeah, decent drive up here. It's quite a nice countryside, cutting across Cheshire. First time I've been to the Broughton Airbus factory. I've dropped to an aerospace company around the corner from here. So I picked up in Derby some aerospace company quite close to Rolls-Royce, not Rolls-Royce but really close to there. So there's a big aerospace thing in Derby. Somebody tell me, first time I've been to that area. Yeah, and that's it. So that was 95. So I've done alright today, 270 something. I'm not a million miles from home here, so the plan for tomorrow is bid for either local jobs pinging around the northwest, sort of in-charge jobs, or keeping an eye out for jobs going more closer to home, closer to the West Midlands. I mean, get home mode today, so I don't think I'm going to earn great money this week, but the pence per mile is reasonable. Should hit my minimum target, which is like 200 today. Don't want to curse myself, but I need another 66 quid tomorrow. Should be able to do that. And I worked out, even if I drove home empty from here, I'd still be over 85 pence a mile for the week. So I should hit my miles per thing target. But that's it for the day update, but obviously I'm in Wales, North Wales, so it's time for Gair Cymraeg y Dydd, Welsh word of the day. Yeah, so like I say, I'm in North Wales, which is my home area, so I tend to do a lot more work going to South Wales because obviously there's much more population and industry and jobs ping up there. Once you get past sort of D side into North Wales, it gets very quiet towards Conway and Anglesey and stuff, and Bangor. That's my part of the world, sort of between Conway and Bangor. I grew up on the coast. Yes, I don't often get a chance to come to North Wales. South Wales does feel a bit homely, even though I've rarely been there in my life until I started doing this. Must just be the bilingual road signs or something. But yeah, Welsh word of the day anyway is Gogledd. I'm not going to spell this one because if you read it in English you'll read it wrong. So Gogledd, which means north. So quite often get people, when they tell me I'm Welsh, they start calling me Taff, but I'm not a Taff. A Taff is a South Walian. It might even be just people from Cardiff. I don't know, because it's the River Taff that runs through Cardiff. I think that's where it comes from. So like I said, the Welsh word for north is Gogledd. So anyone from North Wales is called a Gog, as in short for Gogledd, Gog. But yeah, nobody really knows that. It's only really North Walian people that refer to themselves as Gogs, really. But anyway, that's what we are, and that's the Welsh word for today. Right, final on the run update of the week. I'm on my way home from my last job. It's about 3:30 Friday afternoon. Stopped off for a wee in Cannock Forest, Cannock Chase. So I did think it'd be nicer to film outside of van. I think it's all been in the van so far. My bulkhead. Anyway, yeah, so I was by the Airbus Broughton last night, so I kept in like a big retail car park there. Something I've noticed when I was down South Wales as well, and I don't know if it's the Welsh government have got different rules on it, but there's no like maximum parking and like a charge after like 2 or 3 hours. So I'm wondering if maybe the Welsh government have stopped people doing that. I think I might have heard something on the radio. It's in there somewhere. I've got a funny feeling I don't go to Scotland very rarely these days, if at all. I'm pretty sure it might be the same up there, but anyway. Yeah, so kept there. But before I went to bed last night, I looked at what was on the feed for the area. And there's a job on there. There's a few jobs on there actually, for the northwest and stuff. And there was one job for the shipper I quite often do jobs for. They post jobs on their little WhatsApp group. I'm on their like WhatsApp trusted contractor list or whatever. And they had one from CW10 or CW11, which is kind of Sandbach or something area, just sort of like to the west of the M6, as you're heading from like Stoke up towards the northwest. That was quite far from it. I was like 32 miles from it or something like that, but it was only a 50-mile job, so I bid on it on the CX. Even though it's 50 miles, I quoted 70 quid, long wheelbase. And I put in the notes, you know, where I was. It says I'm going to be in Broughton, it's quite far. I can do it for this if you don't get any better offers, because I know they kind of struggle, because that's a bit of a funny place, really. Even though there's a fair bit of like industrial estates around there, dotted round. There's no real big towns, and it's quite like an affluent area, so you're not going to get many owner drivers that live around there. And I've noticed before when they put jobs from this pickup, so got like a regular customer there, that they struggle. Nobody says yeah I'll do it. It just, you know, stays on there. Nobody responds. So I put the offer in anyway. I went to bed and she actually rang me when I was asleep, so I had a message this morning, missed call, saying yeah, happy to pay 70 quid and do it, blah blah blah. So yeah, texted them this morning, got the job through. So like 40-minute drive to pick it up, so I got there at 8 o'clock, 45 minutes. Get to the pickup, which is a normal customer, and they weren't expecting me. Basically, the shipper had messed up. This was actually one of our other customers in the West Midlands had ordered it, and it was collecting for them to deliver to them in the West Midlands, Wednesbury. And she goes, "Oh yeah, you're in the same place, so it's, you know, similar postcode, but it was CW10 instead of CW11." And I put it in Google, it was like 7.5 miles north. And obviously I'm going north away from Wednesbury, so it was actually 15 miles on the job. So anyway, I went and picked up from the other place, pallet of packaging. Another packaging place, and seems to do a lot of that lately. Down to Wednesbury. So I got there, got loaded, messaged them, say it's an extra 15 miles. So I got an extra 15 quid for the job in the end. Dropped off in Wednesbury, not far from home. That was 85. So it still worked out about 85 pence a mile all in, which is my minimum I try and do. So it did put me really close to home, but like 10:30. So from there, Amazon Flex Depot is just down the road in Wednesbury from where I was. So I checked on there and actually booked myself in for a 1:45 block, but it was only like 2.5 hours, paid 35 quid. So I wasn't overly too excited to do that really, but that was kind of like my fallback. But the feed was crazy busy today in the West Midlands, so I'd already set my home location back to actual home in Walsall, so I was just getting within my catchment of that area sort of thing. And there was like between 110 and 120 jobs on the feed. But what I've noticed is it gets busy to a point and then it kind of like runs away because shippers are struggling to get jobs covered or not getting many quotes. So they'll post it, and then a few minutes later, if they haven't got what a quote they want to go with, they'll just keep posting, or they might not get any, and just keep posting. So the same job might get posted like several times. It could be like 10 plus times sometimes, especially if it's a job that's, you know, picking up or going to somewhere a bit out of the way, or it's a known awkward drop. Like JCBs seem to have this reputation. You're always going to get some jobs like that, but when it's really busy, they struggle to cover even, you know, normal good jobs. But anyway, yeah, so I did actually get another job in the end. It was a job that I must have been like, I'd seen it ping up loads of times, but I didn't really go for it because it was, even though it was close to me, Willenhall, 6 miles to the pickup, it was dropping in Uttoxeter, or ST14 Roster, whatever it's called, Rochester, definitely not Rochester, Roster I think it's called, the main JCB place area, and it's short wheelbase, and I thought, well, I'm not going up there because it's just getting me too far from home considering where I was. But then they posted it again and I bothered clicking on it to check it again, so I'm glad I did, because it said pays 90 quid, 38 miles loaded, short wheelbase, pays 90 quid, and I was 6 miles from it, so I thought, yeah, I'll do it for that. Turns out when I went to the pickup, banged in the address where I was going into Google, the quickest way was actually a more direct way because the traffic's at 33 miles loaded. Not 6 miles to get there, so 39 miles for 90 quid. So that worked out quite well. It was JCB, it wasn't the normal JCB shipper, but it was the main place. Third time I've been there now, and it's never been an issue for me actually. Straight in and out. It was a 15-minute job. Yeah, so even with driving home from that, which is a bit over 30 miles, it's you know, it's still over £1 a mile, including my getting home. I had a bit of a battle with Google on the way home, Google Maps. It's probably I'll mention it, a bit of a whinge. My biggest issue with Google Maps, the most annoying thing I find about it is you'll put where you're going, you'll say directions, and then it'll give you 2 or 3 options. So in this case, I went, like the quickest option was 2 minutes quicker than the second option, but it was 10 miles longer. So I thought, right, I'll go the second option, you know, 2 minutes, 10 miles shorter. I want to go that one. So click on that one, go. And then if you don't watch it, it will say, ping up, oh, we have found a faster route, which will be the one you've purposely not selected. And if you don't watch it and you miss it, it just changes as you're driving along. And if you've got the radio on, which you know I do have most of the time, you don't hear it, you don't look at it because you're looking at the road, and all of a sudden, you know, I realised, like, why am I going towards Stafford here? Sure, I didn't come this way. And then I pressed back and I could see it had sent me the bloody long way. So I kind of like cut off that route anyway, went the other way. But yeah, just something to be aware of. If you use Google Maps, I'm sure you know about it, or if anyone knows any ways of working around that. So anyway, bit of a long update, but yeah, that was 90 quid, 85 for the first one. Good pence per mile today. I was kind of getting me home. So we're okay in the week in the end, even though it's been pretty hard and I'm pretty tired. But yeah, more of that. I'm pretty shattered now, actually. More of that in the update tomorrow. So like I say, this is, can't see it at the moment, but like this mountain bike trail goes down that hillside. And this side of the valley is loads of unofficial trails. So I might even come up here Monday, I think, and have a bit of a explore of the unofficial trails. Anyway, so that's the run bit done. Alright, Sunday afternoon now. Summary time as ever. Yeah, so just to quickly go through the figures and a few things I want to mention. So, yes, so 5 days on the run this week. I managed to get home on the Monday. So I spent one home at night and then 3 nights in the back of the van. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. Didn't stay in any hotels or anything this week. Didn't do any tolls. So just my standard kind of costs for the week. So Monday, 2 jobs, 98 and 89, which is 187. Tuesday, 3 jobs, 130, 40 and 276, which is 446 for the day, which is my best takings ever for a day, but it was a very, very long day. But it was still the same day, kind of thing, about the same day. Wednesday, worst day of the week, possibly the worst day I've had ever. When I'm actually out on the run, I've had days where I haven't managed to get a job and decided to stay at home, but I did 25 quid on a Wednesday, which was the cancellation fee, that was it. Thursday, better day, 40, 68, 73 and 95, so that was 4 jobs on the Thursday, 276. Friday, 2 jobs to finish off the week, 85 and 90, which is 175. Yeah, just had to check something quickly. Total for them 5 days then comes to 1,109, which is £221.80 a day. I'm filming this in the back of the van because the front of the van's in blazing sunshine and might be a bit too bright and it's pretty hot in there, greenhouse effect. Yeah, so, and mileage wise, 1,171 miles. That's all miles, you know, loaded and unloaded as ever from leaving here. It's basically Monday morning to Friday afternoon. It works out at 94.7 pence a mile, all miles, which is pretty good. As I keep saying, my target is 85, but I think I've always managed to meet that 85 pence. 1 week it was close, but generally I've been doing higher than that, so that's a good thing with this van, you know. Yeah, so off that, people quite often ask me about, that's my takings, what's my kind of take home, but not exactly my take home, but after taking into account the VAT bonus, because I charge VAT on that, I'm on the flat rate scheme, so I keep some of it. So if I add that on top, which is another 8% on top, and then take away my fixed costs, which are £20 a day, that's 100 for the week, and then 30 pence per mile for fuel, depreciation, servicing, all that stuff. It comes out at about 750 left, which I consider my wage. Whatever the profit is my wage, because I'm just like a sole trader. That's obviously pre-tax, so I just get treated as normal for that in terms of income tax. And then it's national insurance contributions and stuff that you do as a sole trader. But yeah, I think my pre-tax, I think in terms of pre-tax, what could I earn? Like, how does that compare to just having a normal job like I used to have, and just someone's employee? And I work off working 46 weeks a year. Once you take into account all the holidays, bank holidays like it is tomorrow, and just time you're going to have off, you could obviously work more. That's the way I work it. Yeah, so that was the week. In the end, it was a pretty reasonable week takings wise. It was a hard week on the run. So yeah, it's kind of like the rough and the smooth of the enlist kind of work. So last week was a really smooth week, earned pretty good money. The pence per mile rate was good. Enjoyed a week, went to some nice places, stopped in some nice places over in the evenings, and had a good look around Liverpool and Cambridge and stuff. This week it didn't really work out. It was more of a struggle to make money. Had to pull that really late day on the Tuesday. I say I had to, but when I got this job, it's one of them ones where, as Pete the courier driver says, make an offer you can't refuse. Not that they can refuse, because you're not really that keen on doing it. If they want to pay that money, you'll do it. And that was when the phone rang. I was a bit like, oh, I'm gonna have to do it now. And I didn't get to bed till like 3:45, and that did stuff me up for the end of the week. So I don't like pulling late days. I mean, doing this, if you set yourself up, you could work from early morning, like 6-7 o'clock, and then get a late job. Like, you don't tip till after midnight. But you got to really watch yourself for this job and not get too obsessed with earning massive money, because you could do and just drive yourself into a box, like quite literally, because it's obviously you're going to be driving sleepy. On the that drive on the Tuesday, I was glad it wasn't much further, any further, because by the time I got to the drop near Norwich, I was starting to feel a bit sleepy, but it was almost like, it was about 3:15 then. Even though I'd started driving only about 11, I was looking for jobs just after, or 8:15, so that's a really, really long day, really. In normal times, it's still getting busier. It's still not where it would be, obviously, without COVID. In normal times, I just wouldn't work that late. I think 12 o'clock, midnight is the cut-off in ideal times. But as it is at the moment, still got to take what you can kind of thing. So that's my, just the top up for the week, summary for the week. I had my jab this morning, the Pfizer one, because I'm too young for the other one. So yeah, I'm still a young man. My brother had the old man's one, so I've been winding him up about that one. Anyway, that's it as ever. Any comments, put them below. Any tips for me or anyone else who watches this, any points to raise, please do. And as ever, thanks for watching.